people just check boxes, and if they can't check the proper box, then it's not good. So I did what I probably should have done in the first place, which is look for a biologiste to be able to handle this. So I found someone in Saint-Jérôme who knew that procedure fairly well. I forwarded them the response and the letter that I got from the city, all the documents that I filed, and so on and so forth. And the funny thing, so we had a call. This whole process took about 2 weeks, by the way, to get that biologist on board, schedule the call, get on the call, and stuff like that. And as we're on the kickoff call, and I explained the situation, I also shared the response that I got from the ministry. And in copy was a certain gentleman's name, which I'm not going to name right now. And the biologist says, oh yeah, he's in Saint-Jérôme's office. I know him. And so it just lit up in my brain. It's like, why didn't I do this in the first place? Deal with professionals. Hello, and welcome back to the Very Real Estate Effect podcast, a show dedicated to real estate investing right here in Quebec. And today it's going to be another solo episode where I'll be sharing some of the adventures I went through in order to deal with the Ministry of Environment for my big project in Saint-Jérôme, Quebec. So for those who haven't heard yet, this is the second solo episode on this particular project. A couple months ago, I acquired 2 pieces of land in Saint-Jérôme to build a 16-unit with some commercial space on the ground floor. And so today, I just wanted to share a little bit of a story of exactly like what I had to go through and what happened with the Ministry of Environment. So just to backtrack a little bit, there was a commercial duplex on the land that burnt. It needs to be cleaned up, and part of that duplex had a foundation wall within la bande riveraine. So that's like the strip that's by the river where you're not supposed to build. Now, obviously, it was grandfathered. That had been built a long time ago, and now we need to demolish it. And the new building is not going to be within that zone. So we're going to be outside of it, which is a very good thing. So I thought it would make it easier for the Ministry of Environment. As I said, the building burnt. It needs to be decontaminated and cleaned up. And in order to do that, I need my demolition permit. And so I, exposed the situation to the city. They're well aware. And they said, yeah, everything's been taken care of. You've done all the steps, but, because there's always a but with the city, you need a certificate of authorization from the Ministry of Environment. And I'm like, gee, I've never done that before. How do I go about that? So this is all I have. So then I go about it. I do a bit of research online. I literally end up calling the ministry in Quebec City, who briefly explains to me the procedure and puts me in touch with someone in Montreal who it's not the right person anyways. But basically what I find out is that you go online and there is 3 forms to fill up. And that's the basis to be able to open a file. To open a file, you need your Click Secure account. Like it's a little bit, just being able and ready to file the application, just that takes like quite a bit of hoops to jump through. But anyways, takes me 2-3 days. I get through it. And I also find out that when there's a request like that, you submit it all online. It goes to a centralized group at the ministry. They assess whether your request is even applicable. And if they deem applicable, they send it to the office in the field that's responsible for that region. So for me, Saint-Jérôme, it happens to be the office in Sainte-Thérèse. So, okay. So then I actually called the office in Sainte-Thérèse. I leave them some messages. They finally call back. And I explained to them the situation. There's been a fire. The situation is pretty dire. It's urgent. And they said, okay, that's fine. No problem. Fill up those 3 forms, submit it. And if there's anything missing, we will contact you and let you know. I'm like, okay, perfect. So then it takes me about a day. And those forms are like 16 pages each, by the way. And you have to like re-put a lot of the same information over and over again and stuff like that. So I did that. And I finally was able to file the application. So then I'm like, okay, as they said, 3 to 5 days, I'll get some news. No news 1 week, no news week 2, no news week 3. And then literally just as I'm about to get out of town, like the day before, I get an email saying that my application has been considered unreceivable because there's a document missing. So obviously I'm floored because that's not at all the instruction that I was given. So I quickly write back to them and say, okay, but I was told that if there's something missing, you just let me know, and this and that. Basically, I got the point. The point is that, these people just check boxes, and if they can't check the proper box, then it's not good. So I did what I probably should have done in the first place, which is look for a biologiste to be able to handle this. So I found someone in Saint-Jérôme who knew that procedure fairly well. I forwarded them the response and the letter that I got from the city, all the documents that I filed, and so on and so forth. And the funny thing, so we had a call. This whole process took about 2 weeks, by the way, to get that biologist on board, schedule the call, get on the call, and stuff like that. And as we're on the kickoff call, and I explained the situation, I also shared the response that I got from the ministry. And in copy was a certain gentleman's name, which I'm not going to name right now. And the biologist says, oh yeah, he's in Saint-Déré's office. I know him. And so it just lit up in my brain. It's like, why didn't I do this in the first place? Deal with professionals for anything that you're not qualified, or if it's not your bread and butter. Seriously. So then the biologist got on the case, and it literally took her about like a week to do the file, and then refiled everything. And then within 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks, I think it was 10 days, we had a signed document. I received it by email confirming from the Ministry of Environment, here's the certificate of authorization. So I literally just like turned around and emailed it to the city, and the next day I had my demolition permit. Now, there's a few important points in there. Is that one, it always takes way more time than you think it will. Two, for such a procedure, seriously, deal with a professional. You're not able to do it. You don't have the qualifications. That's fine. Just recognize it. And it'll cost you, in my case, it cost me like just about $1,000 to get the biologist on board. And then we finally got our document. So then we were able to get our demolition permit. Now, the permit is issued. Now you actually have to go and do the cleanup. Now, to do the cleanup, in the previous episode about this project, I explained a little bit how I went out for quotes, and I got 6 quotes. It was literally from simple to double. And I argue and I say, why are you so expensive? Well, you need to do this, you need to do that, and you need to deal with la CNSST and this and that, which is all true, except that it goes back to what I shared previously. Like, you need to develop an accurate scope of work. You need to be really clear in what you're expecting them to bid on, what you want included, what you don't want included. And then once you receive their quotes, do a comparative table. You literally do an Excel spreadsheet, the name of the company, the price, and then all the features, what's included, what's not included. So you can actually lay out the information and you can compare for yourself, because it's so easy to like, oh, I just need to get this done. Just jump on the first one and you realize that you've overpaid. So in our case, it was estimated that there's about 40 containers to clean up, and then get the weight, get the price per container. There's also some liners that need to be put in there. Ask them exactly what liners they're putting, and so on and so forth. There's so many small things to cover that I didn't think about at the beginning in order to select the best company. So what I did is that I took all 6, I took all the quotes, I literally printed them, laid them all out, did a big comparative table, and then I ranked them by price. And then I kept the top 3. And then from there, I went back to each supplier and I renegotiated. And I literally just told them, hey, as you know, I did multiple quotes. You're in the top 3. I want to see with you. I have a few questions with regards to your quote. What about this? What about that? Is this included? Is this not included? Can you make a bit of an effort? And I was actually able to reduce them about 15, 20%, put them in competition. And then I selected really the best one. And I asked for all of his documentation. Hey, if you were going to get the contract, here's the information that I need. Obviously, proof of insurance, all your documentation, registration with la RBQ, your qualifications with la CNSST. There's a list of documents like that I asked, and also that they do their tax filings with Revenue Quebec and so on and so forth, to be able to be sure that I wasn't dealing with, a mafia company or a crook or something like that. Because at the end of the day, I need to have the slips for each container showing that that had been properly disposed. So in the end, it's me who's on the hook. So it's my responsibility to do the work. So by then I got my demolition permit and I selected a company to do the work. And it hasn't even actually started as this is airing. It was supposed to be end of summer. It might be pushed back to the fall, early fall, because there's a number of factors that came in that really made it a lot more complicated for us on this file. And so this is just one thing I wanted to share at. And right now we're just about ready with the building, with the with the application for the construction permit. There were some surprises when it came to the fees that needed to be paid. And this is where you ask the city to confirm and confirm and confirm. And at the last minute, they don't even tell you, oh yeah, there's been a change in the rules. Like there's big extra fees to pay. And this is where we're at. And I will share more about it in the next episode. Sometimes on this project, to be frank, one, I realized I asked myself if I didn't go too far and get in way over my head. The economic environment has greatly changed since the month of February till now. I mean, it's no surprise, we all know it, but it's still hard and scary. And sometimes I wonder what I'm going to do, because I put already quite a bit of money into this and I need to make it work and I need to make it happen. So I will prevail. I will find a way. Maybe it'll take me 3 years instead of 18 months to 2 years. We'll see. And my lovely wife, Rosalie, was reminding me, like in big moments of doubt, she's like, yeah, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now, are you going to be happy you did it? Most likely is that this whole thing is supposed to be making us money, not losing money. So this is where, like, that decision comes in quite important. So here you go for today. Just wanted to share that with that process. Anytime you have to deal with the ministry, honestly, hire a biologist, hire a professional. They'll do a much better job, much faster, and much thorougher. So there you go. Save yourself some time. Hire professionals in every trade. Thank you very much for listening. As usual, please leave us a review, send us some feedback, some comments. If you have any ideas of guests we should interview, topics you'd like to hear about, please let me know. And in the meantime, keep researching your market, run some pro formas, and make some offers. Thank you, and talk to you next week. Bye-bye.